So today we're going to read torture devices that I made as a child. I was talking in my stream how I made like weird drawings when I was a kid. I have a creepy art style, and I remember I have like this cute book with penguins on it, and I filled it with torture devices that I invented, and I haven't looked at it for years. So today we're going to look at them together, and we're going to rate them, how good they are, and maybe redraw the best one in my current art style. And yes, this will be messed up, yes, indeed. Alright, so the first one is like a really tight cage, and it would drop into the water, and there's also a sword like impaled into his face. His eye has been cut but stitched, which is very nice of the torturers. He has like something for his mouth, but I don't really know what it is supposed to do. And it has like spikes all in his neck or his face, because he doesn't really have a neck. This one seems annoying, but it's not really that creative, and I'm not sure if he actually drops in the water.
Hello, how are you? I am under the water.
Or
Please
it's
help.
just a scare tactic. I'll give this a 4. It's pretty boring. Okay, this is me from the future. I just finished the video, and I have to say it gets way more interesting till the end. So be sure to watch the entire video so you can see the crazy progression from the start till the finish, because at the end, what the heck? Next one is like a pulley system. So one guy has hooks on his ears, and it's pulling with a pulley to a guy who's getting a wedgie with his underpants, and when one of all the components breaks, he falls into the pins. This one is pretty unbelievable because the ears wouldn't be able to hold the weight, I think, of the other person, so it would just tear off pretty quickly. Nobody would really die, it would be pretty inconvenient. It's not really that great. I'll give this a 3 out of 10. It's like a tight hallway, and there is 500 kg pushing down, and one guy has to hold it up, but it has spikes on it, so it really hurts. But I'm pretty sure he wouldn't be able to pull it off in first place, so that's not good. But it also has like springs to make it more difficult, like boxing gloves with pins on it, on springs to hit him, and underneath there are like people angry that he can't really hold it. This is bad. I will give this a 1 out of 10. Another pulley system. So there's a shark inside the water. The other guy, when he lets go, he would get smacked inside of the pins again, and the other guy would cool down but get eaten by a shark. 2 out of 10. He's like screaming no. Just a pretty inconvenient position. I think it exists in real life as well. 4 out of 10. This guy is getting squished by gears, but his legs survived. Pretty unrealistic. 1 out of 10. This is like a water slide with radioactive water, and everybody's just in line. Monster is pushing them down the slide. The slide is also filled with like sharp blades, and it's pretty nice. I even recycle them. That's a pretty creative one. I'll give it a 7. Here we have a guy with hooks inside his skull, through his eyes, and he gets held up by 2 hooks. But there is a lot of weight pushing down. If it was less weight, maybe it would be realistic, so I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. 6 out of 10. This is basically an oven. This is like the complete opposite. This one got freeze to death. Not too creative again. Human dartboard. Cut in 2. It's also stolen from another movie, I think. Electrocution. The Miley Cyrus. Squished. This is just the modern version of the horse thing, like when they pull your limbs with horses, and here it's with cars and a rocket. I don't like how bad this would be for the environment. So you just get crushed by a large ball with spikes. Like there's a lava pool and there are all guys hanging with way too much weight on each other's limbs. It would just smack off, it would just tear. I don't know which one I would rather be. I don't think I want to be the one who's upside down. Maybe when you're like in between, it would be quite satisfying for your back, like the crunch or something. This one has like something around his neck and gets spent around. If I did this right now, I think I would do it upside down so the blood gets inside his brain, because now he would just faint. Another one with gears. It depends how fast or slow it would be that his limbs get crushed, and once it gets crunched, what then? Does he just stay there? Is there an audience? How did he get in there in the first place? Because it's pretty high, pretty unrealistic. I don't like it that much. This one, he gets just stretched with weights. Seems pretty annoying. Here we have a platform with a spring, and a guy gets shooed up and takes a nice turn and lands on a spike. That would be pretty entertaining to see. That's the way I would go. Yeah, it's a spectacle. 7 out of 10. Here we have like a car driving at high speed against a wall. It would be pretty terrifying for the guy who's there, but I think it's quite resourceful because the car would break, the wall would break. It's also powered by rockets, which I don't really like. Somebody hanging. I don't know why this guy's just standing there chill, like he's just hanging there. This one gets crushed with a lot of rocket engines. Don't really like that again. I think it would be too fast as well, like he's struggling, like, oh, I can't hold it, but it would be like, yeah, that's a pretty good one. I think the cube with the guy inside gets lowered inside the water and it slowly fills up with water. It must be quite terrifying. I think it's a glass cube as well, so we can maybe put it in an aquarium and people can watch how it happens. That seems pretty fun. This guy gets clamped with his head, and if something breaks or falls off, the iron balls would fall on the guys underneath. I think we should skip the fire part, otherwise it would be pretty good. Somebody's getting stretched by 2 cars and extra weight. I think the 2 cars would be plenty enough. This guy is getting eaten by a giant crab and sharks, but he would just drown. Ooh, somebody is getting hit by radiation poisoning with a glass dome. He gets squeezed to death. His eyes gets like ripped out of his socket, and what then? He's just standing there like, guys, this is pretty boring. Yeah, I think he would just drown. Not the one who gets stretched. Ooh, this is a fun one. So we have a mountain top and an iron ball balanced on top of it. And on that there are chains and a guy tied up there. Here he has to hold on for his dear life and a monster will eat him. Here we have the same dome idea, but this time with animals, and like a hammer is like cracking the dome. I think this one is more interesting than the previous one. Yeah, this seems pretty cool. Another guy hanging. This is with 2 people. I think the flames on the bottom are pretty overkill. The swinging axe would be terrifying enough, and what they don't see is it's like slowly falling, and when the weight hits the bomb, it will just explode and fall all down. So it's a pretty cool plot twist. Yeah, that's a pretty cool one, because it would be really unexpected, like you're slowly waiting and suddenly the roof collapses. It isn't that practical to redo it, so that's not the best option. This guy's getting cooked alive. This is like the Saw movie. So somebody is like running with the backpack of 90 kg. I think the backpack is unnecessary, you can skip that. But he can get hit by a hammer or a boxing glove, and when he or she falls, it engages this mechanism that shoots a rocket to the 600 kg ball, and it will roll down into the cage to bump the 10 people inside this cage into the fire. This is a quite interesting one. Like, this would be a real spectacle. Especially from the side view, you can like take bets and such. This is an 8, solid 8 for me. Oh yeah, and I forgot to tell you, when running guy falls, he also gets crushed by a weight, so it would be over quick. We have like a giant pole balanced with somebody tied up in a seat, and his or her hair is like clamped. And I don't know why, but there are like 2 people trying to pull her up or keeping her balanced, so when they give up she just falls to her death. I think the guys on top are her friends or something. Another 8. We're getting more and more creative. This guy is just locked up and like a spike drops inside his mouth through his body. The piano falls onto this guy on spikes again. Ooh, this guy's locked up in like a metal construction, but in the heat and with like insects all crawling over him. This would be super annoying, like in the heat with insects. This might be my worst one. This seems so annoying, damn. And this guy like is dropping slowly, I guess, into an alligator or crocodile, like tied up on his neck, and he's going to eat him. This wouldn't work because the crocodile would drown in the first place, and the crocodile uses the death roll. So they need to be able to move their body because they can't really chew. They have to snatch something and death roll so they can. Finally, we used some more realistic weights. The guy's hanging there, all locked up again, and his mouth is getting pulled open with hooks, and the weights are bowling balls and a safe. So that would be quite annoying, and it's also pretty clever. It uses hooks, so when the jaw breaks, it just breaks, but it's still attached, so it just hangs there. Yeah, this is a pretty good one. He can't move, his eyes are getting pulled open by hooks, and there is a fan in his face and sand dripping, like blowing into his eyes until he dies. 9.5 out of 10. This is horrible, horrible. Hanging there, and it's shooting bowling balls into his tummy until he dies. Why are these so creative? The first ones are so lame and these are so creative. We have a transparent ball, pretty nice, so the audience can watch. On the floor there are all scorpions, poisonous I guess, and there are all wasps flying around, so he can choose to jump off the platform into the scorpions to end himself or get stung by millions of wasps. I would like to see how people react with this one. This is a chair that holds people like this and puts the weight of a safe on this part, like on the joint, to force it until it just breaks clean off. Oh, and this one just like takes your mouth and drills all your. And the same device can be used on your eye. Don't really like that one because the sand one was way better. And here is a guy like hanging there and needles get shot into him. Think like darts, because it would be painful. And he's also dangling above fire. And this is the last one. Another pulley system, this time it pulls on his hands, his ears and his nose. Yeah, that's messed up. So fellow twisted people, tell me in the comments what do you think is the worst and which one should I revisit with my current art style. Because I would love to redraw one. This penguin book. I would love to redraw one in my current art style. It seems pretty fun. Yeah, it's fucked up. It really is actually. If you like this kind of stuff, you will probably like this video as well. I redraw childhood art in this one, and everything else is also pretty dark. And if you want to see the lighter side of me, you can also check out Froozone, link in the comments. It's more geek and cosplay and review stuff, like something lighter. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.